TSA under Homeland Security has now set up checkpoints on highways across the United States and are searching people like it's an airport driving down the highway, something right out of a third world dictatorship, while our borders are pretty much wide open in many areas. And federally, they're putting in cameras, microphones everywhere. They have threat fusion centers that are run by the feds, sometimes at military bases that the local police departments and fire departments are all moving into. So this is a total federalization that violates our 10th Amendment. Why even have states? Why even have counties and cities if the federal government is running everything? And I noticed a few weeks ago you would see concerted on the same day in 10, 15, 20 cities, raids on Occupy Wall Street. I mean, that's obvious it's being concerted when it happens on the same day, same night, same morning, in the same way, same tactics. And now it's just admitted. And they're brutalizing people now. They're cracking them over the head with billy clubs. They're pepper spraying babies. And it's a message of, we don't like what you're doing. I mean, what happened early on was the Democratic Party tried to co-opt this, like the Republicans tried to co-opt the Tea Party, and that didn't really succeed. And so they've gone from a month ago, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Federal Reserve, the Obama administration, Ben Bernanke, all endorsing Occupy Wall Street when they thought that they could co-opt it, to now saying, get them out of here. And also I've discovered in Austin and in Detroit as well as New York, we've confirmed that when they let homeless people out who've been arrested for being drunk in public or sleeping on the sidewalk, or they release people from prison or homeless shelters or mental institutions, they tell them, go to Austin Occupy, go to New York Occupy. We won't arrest you there. So for the last month, they've been sending all the homeless people and mentally ill people and prisoners there so they can then demonize it and say, look, people are going to the bathroom on the ground, even when there's a porta potty. Fights are breaking out. There's robberies. Well, they're now trying to blame the shooting at the White House on Occupy Wall Street. What do they have to gain? They get intelligence so they can then demonize the group. They can set the groups up. Look, the system knows with its actuaries and different calculations that there is an uprising against the corruption on Wall Street and against the Federal Reserve coming. The system knows that there's more political action, more demonstrating coming from across the political spectrum. So at first they kind of give Occupy Wall Street good press, try to make it a Democratic type thing so they can at least make it partisan. Now they're in the business of demonizing it, infiltrating it to try to manufacture or dig up dirt on them as a way to generally demonize all forms of protest in this country ahead of the full depressionary collapse, bank runs, and everything else that's in the works. You know, I see the police and hear talk radio demonizing Occupy Wall Street across the board, calling them a bunch of dirty criminals. The New York Post called them rabble, which means basically criminal scum. This idea that protesting and demonstrating is criminal or is scummy or filthy is really un-American and anti-democratic across the world. And so that's my big concern. And now we have this MF Global taking $900 million of people's own bank accounts out of their system and giving it to mega banks and raiding people's private accounts like Gerald Celente that broke here yesterday and is now one of the biggest stories in the country. You know, why don't we see a perp walk for those criminals who are openly doing this? Well, it turns out that the head of the CFTC, according to Reuters, is invested deeply with Corzine, who runs this MF Global. So you've got these massive lootings and bank accounts being grabbed and derivatives and all these scams going on. None of them get in trouble. They get multi-trillion-dollar citizen-paid bailouts. And then when citizens are mad about the country going into a depression, the media demonizes the people and six military-style police on them. I mean, what I saw in New York, where they were cracking women in the head for no reason with billy clubs and shooting veterans in the face with rubber bullets and almost killing them in Oakland, and then to hear the media defending it. I mean, my God, our country's gone from 20 years ago decrying Tiananmen Square to now basically praising similar type things. It's a psyop. Again, we've confirmed they're telling the homeless people, you're arrested if you sleep anywhere else, under a bridge, anywhere, you go to Occupy. This is being done nationwide for at least a month. It's a self-fulfilling process. It's a setup. What needs to change is We need to say the First Amendment's the First Amendment. And whether you agree with what the Occupy people are saying or disagree, you should support their First Amendment and right of free speech. And also, we need to get the word out that Occupy Wall Street is a diverse spectrum of ideas, from libertarians to socialists to liberals to conservatives. And it's an attempt by the mainstream media to brand all protest as basically a bunch of communists. You know, I've been critical of some of the messages in Occupy, and I was critical of it when Obama tried to co-opt it. And I said, if Obama is unable to co-opt it, they're going to raid him. And that's now happened. So the good news is they failed to co-opt this movement. And so that's why you're going to see the system turned loose on them. And so we need to stand with Occupy Wall Street now that they're being attacked. Now is the time. And we need to have more people like yourself, which you're doing. But other so-called media here in the U.S. needs to step up to the plate and point out that they are telling the people being released from prisons, jails, mental institutions, homeless, you name it, go to Occupy. That's where the free food is. And it's all a big joke, as you said. They pull the cops back. And basically advertise this is a place to engage in crime, to demonize it.